Yo, what's up, y'all? This is a message to my. Let me turn it over. This is a message to my fellow Americans from an American, born and raised. I'm not a tether. I have no, that's a term they like to use and that I've been hearing in certain spaces. I didn't take no notes for this video. As you see, I'm doing my Donald Trump hand gestures. But I didn't take no notes for this video. But this is to my fellow Americans. From the heart, right? As I said, born and raised in America. My family bloodline goes all the way back to the slave plantations of North Carolina. I did my ancestry thing, traced it back all the way to there. As a matter of fact, the slave name, the last name, my family's name, the last name, that white family is still out there. And it's a very unique name. It's not like Johnson or Wilson or Jones, one of these common names. This is like a particular name, last name, that's tied to the family, the descendants of the family that own mines. So, and they're still in North Carolina. So, like I said, it's a very particular last name. It doesn't belong to a lot of people. This name is not very common. And it's actually kind of French. So maybe, the French did come here. So maybe, anyway, it's okay to be patriotic. It's okay to be patriotic about your country, and want to be proud, a proud American, want to, wear your MAGA hat. All that's good. But what I have a problem with, and what I've been seeing on YouTube from certain videos, from certain individuals, is this denial. This blatant denial. There's a term from it. There's a term for that. I can't think of it right now, but in psychology and things of that nature, there's a term when let's say you're being abused by someone, and after a while of being abused by this person, that you start to, I guess, like a coping mechanism to where you actually start to defend your abuser. Like you actually start to say that your abuser isn't bad, that they're abusing you, but there's a reason. It's a reason for them abusing you. It's your fault for them abusing you. I can't think of the term. Maybe I know y'all probably think of the term, but there was also another one where these prisoners of war when they're captured and they're tortured, and basically they're brainwashed into loving their torturer. I say all that to say is that we don't have to be in denial in terms of this country, our country, in that we can be proud, but we can also be real about the fact that this is not the safest place to live. Matter of fact, you can Google it right now. It's on any list. Some list has it in the 40s. Some list has it in the 50s. I've seen one list that has this. They break it down by not only the country, but the city. They had the U.S. didn't come into the list in the hundreds. Matter of fact, Egypt and Saudi Arabia was more safer than the U.S. So we have to be real about this fact that we don't live in the safest country. We live from far from being in the safest country. How can a country be safe when there's more guns available than there are people? There are more guns that are owned not by the military, but by the general population, not by the police forces or law enforcement, but by the general population. There's more guns in the possessions of American citizens than there are people. Just think on that for a minute. How can that country even possibly be safe? Not only are there more guns in this country amongst the American population than there are people, but there are in a lot of mentally ill people that own these guns. So you combine that with there being more guns in this country and them being in the possession of mentally ill individuals, people that are on prescription drugs, that maybe have some anger issues, some depression issues. Combine that with the fact that I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we have we have to have the highest rate of drug addiction in this country, the highest rate of prescription drug usage. So and we have this homeless rate, the incarceration rate. It's just a broken system. And so to say that this country, to be in denial and act and carry about like this country is the safest place to be that one can live, is just denial. According to the list on Google, there are safer places. This country is not even in the top 10 on any list. Any list. So we can be real and we can be honest about the situation. And I speak from personal experience. As someone who has traveled this world, I've traveled this world alone. I've been to some of these so-called dangerous places that they tell you to stay away from. I've been to every continent on this planet except Antarctica. And I can say from personal experiences, it's been places that they said was so-called dangerous that I've been to that I felt a lot safer than being in any major U.S. city. For one, you got to think, there's countries like the UK where the normal citizen can't have a gun. Yeah, they can have knives. That's why you have a lot more knife stabbings out there. But if you talk about what's more dangerous, a gun or a knife, what they always say, don't be bringing a knife to a gunfight, right? Why? Because guns and bullets have a longer reach. You have a knife, you got to get up on that person to get to him. And you might not hit him in the right spot to do whatever you want to do, like, end their life or whatever, right? But with a gun, you could be a football field away and take that gun, and depending on the gun, some guns you could be even further away and just end somebody. They won't even see it coming. Or these mass shootings where they're just going and just randomly and drive out. I know you guys heard about that story about the rapper in Texas and him getting killed with his daughter. See, that type of stuff happens in this country because there's so many guns that people can get easy access to. It's not hard to get a gun in this country. In the UK, I hear it's damn near impossible. In other countries, in Africa, like Kenya, it's damn near impossible. And what I hear is that when they identify someone that has a gun, like in Kenya, they will try to track that person down. The people in the community will snitch on that person and say, yeah, this person has a gun, and the police would track that person down and take that person and do whatever they want. I don't know what they do, but they take that gun from that individual, get that gun out of that person's hand, because I think they realize and they see what's happening in the U.S. with the easy access to guns that we have. If you live in a society where you have to have a gun, that is not a safe society. That is not a safe society. The fact that you have to have a gun, it's a tale of that society. And I know we could talk about human nature and things like that, but I think that the U.S. creates a lot of these conditions that causes people to want to go crazy and to get access to a weapon and take out their frustrations. So I think that we just got to be honest. You can, and that's the thing, right? They say in when you're trying to change an addiction, right? They say the first step to changing that addiction or that problem is to admit that you have a problem. If you are in denial about having an addiction, if you are in denial about having a problem, you'll never change it. And so when we want to act like there is no problems in this country, that this country is great and it's the best it's ever been, that will never change the problems, because we don't admit that there are problems. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. I feel that you're going to have a segment of the individuals, a large percentage of individuals that try to pretend that this country is great and it's still great and it's the best country as opposed to other countries, and that is a damn lie. All the evidence, everything supports that. From my own personal experience to these lists on Google that give a list of the world's safest countries, and the U.S. is nowhere near the top of that list. Nowhere near the top of that list on any list. You can look for yourself. So with that being said, like I said, I'm an American, born and raised, but I'm a realist. I'm a realist. And I know that this is not the safest country to live. And I know that there are places in this world that are a lot more safer than the U.S.